riffs are too repetitive, the lyrics make no sense. All the songs are B-sides and the cover art's a mess. There's so much here to tear apart. Listen to it for a week, now that week has passed. It's Why I Hate This Album podcast with Tim and Garrett.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Why I Hate This Album. I, of course, am one of your hosts, Garrett Harvey. With me, as always, special guest co-host extraordinaire, Linda Tripp to my Monica Lewinsky, Timothy Richardson. Tim, thank you for joining us again this week. How are you?
Well, I don't like that description of my role here, but I'm doing pretty good, Garrett. I'm excited about the future.
Okay, I'm a little on edge. Like the near-term future or like the future?
Oh, the very near-term future, Garrett. You are a UFC fan, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you know that I hate MMA. I think it's dumb.
Yep.
But what I do like, nay, love, is loopholes. So, over the past few months, I've been doing some research on the types of fighting styles that are allowed. After my attempt to become the lightest boxer ever, and therefore the best pound-for-pound boxer ever, kind of went awry when I realized that I am not good at boxing even when light. But obviously in MMA, you've got boxing, jiu-jitsu, judo, wrestling, etc. But Garrett, up until this week, no one had thought to incorporate, and therefore no one had thought to ban Equilibrium's gun kata.
I've been wondering why that's been on a loop for the last 6 days.
Yeah, I checked the rules. Technically, there is nothing banning Kurt Wimmer and Jim Vickers' incredibly cool fighting style. So look forward to me winning a single UFC match and then not being allowed to compete anymore. But I suspect...
being charged with first-degree murder.
No.
This right now counts as premeditated.
Oh, sure, they all... Garrett. It's not against the rules.
Oh, I don't know. I haven't done the research, Tim. And so I'm not in a position to speak on this as an authority. I'm just going to apply my good buddy common sense. And I'm going to guess it's implied.
No, I've had a very competent Italian lawyer go over those rules.
Oh, goodness.
Other good news, Garrett, on a semi-related note, the Hoyt-Schemerhorn subway station pervert was, shall we say, apprehended by our intern pool's legal/law enforcement division while they were out on the streets researching the effectiveness of gun kata.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I think we give the interns a lot of shit, and I think we should take this opportunity to congratulate them. They acted without concern for their own safety, definitely without concern for the safety of anyone else, or mercy toward the alleged perp. And I want to just say, for a brief shining moment, they were heroes.
Interesting. I've got to speak out against the berets and sleeveless shirts. It just has a culty vibe.
Well, Garrett, we're doing an album this week that is very tied into the Chuck Palahniuk ethos, and I thought it would work.
All right, you know what? I can't fault you there, because guess what? It does. Well done. All right, Tim, we could go back and forth all day, but we listened to this silly album, so we might as well get down to business. Tim, what album have we been listening to for an entire week straight?
We have been listening to at the Disco's debut album, A Fever You Can't Sweat Out, released September 27th, 2005. This was requested by Samantha Young, Tyler, Mark Deans, Tyson, Andy, Patrick, Taylor, Ocho, Joseph, Levi, Crystal D, and Luna Lovegood. Probably a fake name. If not, I apologize. And a bunch of people on Instagram that I couldn't figure out how to search.
Wow, that is quite a list. And Tim, after an entire week, and I gotta say, that panic startled me. After an entire week with Panic at the Disco, do you hate this album?
Not yet. But I'm kind of leaning toward it.
But I wouldn't mind.
Yeah.
I would not mind.
What about you, friend? Do you hate A Fever You Can't Sweat Out?
Well, I gotta be honest. I began this week really on the side of hate here. I gotta be really fair. Wasn't ready for this level of pop punkery.
Yeah.
Not my favorite, and it's not super well executed. However, I kind of came around a little bit. Let me qualify the shit out of it. I'm not too far off from you, Timmy. I am really open to getting there this week. But I have to appreciate two things about this album, which we'll get into in a moment, that makes me have to at least begin by saying, no, I don't hate it, but by God, I could be convinced.
Yeah, I think that's a fair assessment here.
Before we get down to the who, what, wheres, and whys, I am curious, Tim, prior to this week, what's your experience with Panic at the Disco? Had you ever had a fever you could fail to sweat out?
Basically none. There's one song on this album that the chorus, or possibly a verse, because the verses are chori and the chori are also chori, because they don't really understand songwriting convention. One of the parts of one of the songs sounded vaguely familiar, but that could also be because this band sounds like a lot of other pop punk bands. I don't know.
Fair.
Yeah. What about you? Well, I know you're a sweaty guy, so that doesn't make sense. Yeah. And you're also a frequently feverish guy.
Wish I knew why.
Have you heard this before?
One song.
Okay.
And it was enough for me to take a screenshot of it, save it to my photos, and bring it up later with you and say, you ever heard this nonsense? And you were like, oh, like half our listeners have asked for that.
Yeah.
And that brings us to today. So that's your history. That is to say you barely have any, and that's mine to say I just barely beat you at that. But before we talk about the album, we do like to understand a little bit about the people who made it. So Tim, take us on a journey. Help us understand. Who are these boys? Why are they panicking so much at the disco, and how did this album come to be?
This is another Vegas band, Garrett.
Oh, yep. Who's our others? Imagine Dragons? Is that a Vegas band?
Yeah, there's been a couple. George Ryan Ross III and Spencer Smith, RR and the SS, were best buddies, Garrett. Kind of like Tim and Garrett. RR got a guitar for Christmas when he was 12, and SS got a drum kit the very same year, so naturally they created a White Stripes-esque duo, named it Pet Salamander, and started playing Blink-182 covers. It was perfect. It was the best time of their lives. It's that magical period when it's just you and your bud, you just doing stuff together in that basement before you get these fucking interns.
Tim, cool as a river, soft as a sponge. Cool as a river, soft as a sponge. Well, it's not working. That vein is sticking. You are upset. Do you need a timeout? Would you like a slice of key lime pie?
I do need a timeout, Garrett.
All right, let's take a timeout. Let's get Gino, get Tim some pie.
Garrett, now that I've had my pie and my calm down juice, the boys were going to Bishop Gorman High School in a Las Vegas suburb, and they seduced Brent Wilson to join on bass and Brendan Urie to play on guitar. They practiced at the SS's grandmother's house. Turns out Urie was a way better singer than RR, so he became the full-time singer on what was still a Blink-182 cover band. Now, it is odd to me that they picked up on this guy's singing ability because he seems to be doing an incredibly generic pop punk vocal affectation through at least this album.
Okay, well, here is, yes, let's build the bridge. I agree. However, I'm going to compliment this band. I have two major compliments. Here comes the first one. This dude does have some serious vocal range and control. It's nothing new, but for him to get as high as he does in that stupid vocal affect, the tonight, that thing, and actually sing in notes is very hard to do. I know, I've been trying to do it all week to mock them, and I cannot. So I as much as I don't enjoy it, and literally my first note in general thoughts is, this man's voice is not for me, but it isn't bad.
Okay, well then you know what? I take it back. I apologize. Urie, you're a good singer, and almost certainly a good man.
I don't think I expressed myself properly.
But we can agree that he's almost definitely a good man.
I apologize and regret interrupting you. If that was your goal, congratulations.
It was not. It is an added bonus. Now, RR, I think, I actually could not figure out which one of these idiots had this quote, but I think it's RR, the main songwriter and guitarist. He allegedly grew up in a very Mormon household, but was a bit rebellious. And he said, and keep in mind, this is nonsense, I grew up in a very, very strict religious household. I grew up Mormon. Religious guilt has been a big part of my life. I will never get rid of it. Even now, I'm not religious in any way, but the judgment that goes on is crazy. Then, apropos of nothing, he says, when I was 16 years old, I sat my parents down and laid out what I'd been doing for the previous 2 years. I was like, listen, I've been having casual sex, I've been selling drugs to my friends and their parents, I've been sneaking out of the house every night. Initially, my parents were just freaked out as hell. My siblings thought it was hilarious. Now, none of that happened. He did not tell his parents that. He makes it sound like he was like, hey, sit down. He made it,
Linda, Steve, listen, we need to let's talk like adults for a minute.
He
okay?
phrased it like he was coming out.
Yeah, it's very odd. I read this quote as well, and I'm inclined to believe a version of it happened. Like his parents caught him doing something, and he was like, so what if I am?
Sure, but I have good news for him. He's lying, and as luck would have it, that is also a sin, so he got that religious guilt in the most boring way possible.
What are you talking about? I don't believe in sins.
Interesting. That would explain why you're able to do the you do. Jesus Christ.
Have a completely does not require me to do anything you would characterize as a sin.
Yuri worked at one of those smoothie places to afford a practice space, and they began writing their own songs. And they thought, who might be the best person to really promote us, to really get that name out there? Now, obviously, they chose Peterick Wentz, bassist extraordinaire for Fall Out Boy, and previous Ashlee Simpson lovemaker-er. Actually, no, future Ashlee Simpson lovemaker-er. Now, Pete Wentz, oddly, is related to Colin Powell, and both he and his mom, I think it's his mom's dad's cousin, maybe? But either way, both he and Colin Powell loved what they heard when the Panic Boys sent them a demo. Now, Pete Wentz and Powell were in Los Angeles working on Fall Out Boy's major label debut / maybe fourth album, I think, third album, somewhere in there. And Pete went to Las Vegas to meet with these new younger boys. He watched them practice, he sat there and made them perform for him, and he signed them to his label Fueled by Ramen. Notably, the Panic Boys had yet to play live, and the interwebs started mocking this whole decision, saying it was some sort of weird favoritism. Perhaps they had done something non-musical to earn this. I don't know. There were some rumors. Point being, seems a little weird that you would get a record deal without ever having played live.
Yeah, and also not having well, I guess it's less weird to not have a record. More on that in a minute. But
yes.
Yeah, what do you mean you've never played live?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's like, what's his face, who used to release comedy albums that he recorded alone in front of nobody? Wasn't that Bob Newhart? Doesn't Newhart have a whole comedy album that's just to silence?
Really? I don't know.
I'm almost certain. Like, because it was 1959, and they were like, what's a comedy album?
I feel like the Button Down Mind, has a live audience.
That's in a club. Yeah, that's in a club.
Anyway, I don't know. We'll have to go back and listen to all of Bob Newhart's material to be certain. More on that next week. No, he's just very old. God, I hope he doesn't die. I like that man. Anyway.
Ever?
Yeah, ever. I hope that he is immortal.
Anyway.
Wouldn't it be great if you and I, on our deathbed, were smothered?
Visited?
We're smothered by by Bob Newhart wielding a pillow?
With his trademark, very neutral, stammering affect.
Yeah.
Nope, just, you're struggling a bit, and I need you to sit still. So I'll be over in a
I'm
minute.
very old and very weak. You're going to have
And
to
then
work
the
with
last
me.
thing you hear as you step from this mortal coil is, Bob Newhart, I'm the Highlander. Wait, what? Bob Newhart's the Highlander!
Yeah.
I'm dead.
Yeah. Luckily, Pete had Colin Powell to lean on for support and obviously for finances, having been paid handsomely for his role in an international scheme about a year or so earlier. Now,
Yellow
Pete started... Hey. That's your bit, not mine.
Just saying what you were thinking.
I want no part in shouting yellow on this show. Pete started pushing the band. He began wearing their t-shirts, calling them out at the VMAs, etc. Again, they have not played live, and they don't have a record. I don't know why they have t-shirts. The band...
I don't even know that you can technically... Texas Toast is as much of a band as Panic at the Disco.
Yes, we just need Colin Powell and Pete Wentz on our side. The band then left for Maryland to start recording. RR had to quit UNLV. The rest of the band had to quit high school. They're all about, I think, 19 at this time. They recorded the album of the Week in 2005. They played their first show. Then they did a national tour, the Nintendo Fusion Tour with Fall Out Boy, for the rest of 2005. The Album of the Week came out in September of that year. We'll get into how well it did at the end. And by mid-2006, they were on a headlining tour and had replaced their bassist, who they allegedly kicked out with a phone call, claiming he had done nothing on the first record and was the bassist in credit only. They said it was done on a phone call and the only other person who spoke was Spencer. Apparently Brendan and Ryan were on the speakerphone too. They did not say a word. They have never even said they were sorry, Wilson explained, the bassist Wilson explained. And
Jesus.
Yeah.
I mean, almost like it's a bunch of 18-year-old boys.
Yeah, absolutely. The band explained, we made the decision based on Brent's lack of responsibility and the fact he wasn't progressing musically with the band. And then they said that he did not play or write any of the bass on A Fever You Can't Sweat Out. Instead, Yuri allegedly recorded those parts. In 2006, at the Reading Festival, there was what the internet describes as an excessive bottling. I'm not sure if you've ever been a part of an excessive bottling on either side, but one of the bottles that was hurled from the crowd knocked Yuri unconscious. The band finished their set once the definitely concussed lead singer regained consciousness. Then they were the headliners on an arena tour. Again, this is approximately 1 year after playing their first live show. So that first tour was... their live show had skits, choreographed dance numbers, and a 6-member acrobatic troupe performing with them for some reason.
Okay, I gotta say, having heard the album, that tracks.
Kinda. It tracks better having heard a description of the album without having heard the album.
I feel like they would prefer, and I haven't never heard any of the other albums, I can't say if this happens, but I think they feel constrained by the pop punk aesthetic. I think that was their entry into music, how they learned, but these dudes feel like they want to do a lot more weirder shit.
Sure, yes. They feel like a band that recently heard Neutral Milk Hotel and was like, why not me too?
But also is a big fan of Moulin Rouge and thought, what if we meld them?
Yes, and also some Fall Out Boy. In 2007, they sequestered themselves in a rural Nevada mountain cabin to write their next album. All of those ideas would eventually be scrapped for being too, and I'm using quotey fingers here, cabin-y, which I assume to mean they were too infused with the madness of cabin isolation to be relatable to a general audience. In 2008, they changed their name to Panic at the Disco. Sans exclamation mark, and with some italics that I'm possibly adding. And they released their next album, Pretty Odd. That's pretty, period, odd, period. I guess they took the band name punctuation out to better justify the album name punctuation. I don't know. They headlined the 2008 Honda Civic Tour in 2008. They toured with Dashboard Confessional on the Rock Band Live tour promoting video game Rock Band 2. That tour was more toned down and featured more vests and plants on the stage and less of the circus activities. The pictures I saw, it seemed like they were doing an emo version of that Nirvana Unplugged thing where they had all the plants on the stage.
Right.
Yeah.
Interesting. But with vests.
With vests. They all wore vests. They wanted to be very clear about the vests.
Such an odd aesthetic.
Yeah. They decided to become more environmentally conscious, going as far as to travel on a biodiesel bus, sometimes using recycled paper, and recycling somewhat more backstage. That's in quotes. That's how they described it.
Boy, this is the worst press release I've ever seen.
Super brave, though, right?
They love Mother Earth, I guess.
Yeah.
Takes a village.
They started working on their third album, and then RR and John Walker went to lunch with SS and just kind of decided to leave the band. They would later say it was due to Yuri wanting to be more pop and them wanting to be more rock, tale as old as time, but they did form a different band, the Young Vanes, that released one album in 2010. Panic carried on without RR and JW and did a song for the soundtrack to the erotic Jennifer's Body. Garrett, have you seen Jennifer's Body, the feminist cult classic and sensual follow-up to Diablo Cody's Juno?
I don't think I have. Have you?
I don't think so.
Has anyone?
I mean, I don't think it did very well, no.
Quick show of hands, interns. No, it's not a trick. If you've seen it, raise your hand. Why do they always get so scared? Okay, I see 2 out of 1, 2. Okay, 2 and 16. You two? No dinner tonight.
It was a trick. They toured with Blink-182, which must have been super awkward for Blink-182, given the fact that, it's a Blink-182 cover band, apparently. They released Vices and Virtues in 2011, going back to the theatricality of costumes and makeup and whatnot. Yuri told Spin Magazine, "I love throwing a big production. I've recently been reading about Tesla coils, and I'm trying to figure out how I can get one that sits on the stage and shoots sparks without hurting anybody. 49 roadies were very badly hurt."
I want to say I've been to a show where Jack White had a Tesla coil on stage, but it might have been a video of the Tesla coil.
You're remembering that Jim Jarmusch movie.
I could be conflating things.
Yeah, he talks about a Tesla coil a bunch in that. Anyway, they did a big collabo song with the band Fun, another inappropriately punctuating band, and they did a song for video game Batman Arkham City. They started working on album number 4, and their new guitarist left the band, citing his desire to make real, genuine music, is how he phrased it.
How is that so cutting for being so non-specific?
They released Too Weird to Live, Too Rare to Die in 2013. Then SS quit the band right before that tour to fight his addiction to alcohol and prescription medicine. Yuri, the only original-ish member, carried on though. In 2016, they released Death of a Bachelor and did the co-headlining tour Weezer and Panic at the Disco, summer 2016. And they did a cover of Bohemian Rhapsody for the better of the two Suicide Squad movies, the first one.
Oh, come here for the worst takes.
In 2017, they did a Christmas song and released Pray for the Wicked. In 2018. In 2019, they did a song for the soundtrack to the better of the two Frozen movies, the second one. In 2018-2019, Yuri described himself as pansexual and stated, "I'm married to a woman and I'm very much in love with her, but I'm not opposed to a man because to me, I like a person. If a person is great, then a person is great." Now, in 2020, Brendan Urie was accused of sexual harassment and assault by a few people of several different genders, some would say consistent with his alleged pansexuality, including a number of people who said they made it very clear to him that they were 15 at the time. I, unfortunately, cannot confirm any of these. These are people making accusations. He has not been charged with any crimes that I know of, so allegedly.
Super allegedly. Their words, not yours.
Right. In 2022, Panic released Viva Las Vengeance. Then Yuri revealed he was going to have a kid, so he'd be discontinuing the band to focus on his family, La Face.
Oh, Charlie to you.
And Chumbawamba.
We can't keep adding words. We can't. You know how this ends.
Yes, I do.
The end of the history is going to end up as long as the show intro has become. That literally used to just be like quick 30 seconds up top.
That's people's favorite part. A lot of people have been telling me they've been turning it right off after we get into what the album is.
Me too. Anyway, great history, Tim. That is to say, fairly thorough. And I gotta say, shock of all shocks, it is, having again only heard this album, the idea of RR, as you put it, what is the guitarist?
Yeah, RR.
I wish I knew their names. He's the songwriter.
Yeah, but
right?
He doesn't have a very good voice, apparently.
Well, sure, no, but he leaves the band after this album, right?
I think he does 2 albums with them. Yeah.
Okay, point being, though, I would argue you're no longer Panic at the Disco when he leaves.
Sure.
You're Yuri at the Disco.
Ooh, better band name. Especially if it's made up of exclusively Israeli men named Yuri.
Now that's a show I'll go to. Terrible music. Okay, that brings us to general thoughts, Tim. I have a question before we talk about the album. The cover. Do you have any idea who's on the cover?
No. It seemed like they tried to do kind of a Sgt. Pepper thing, which I guess given what they're trying to do with the music sort of makes sense a little, but it looks like it was made by a very disturbed child who, as South Park would say, likes to cut the eyes out of pictures of women.
Right.
And just, I'm cutting and pasting. I've disassembled a series of people and I've put them together in the order that I find most pleasing.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Little glimpse into 9-year-old Tim's life.
No. I'm
Sure.
Yeah. Sure. I mean, I did do that. Yeah. I also did the eye thing. I don't like people
Timmy,
looking at me.
What are you doing? They're beautiful, aren't they?
Yeah.
The way I made them. Ugh. Anyway, okay, so glad to hear it. I thought I'd look on the internet immediately and it would list off exactly who this was, but for whatever reason, the internet's confounded, so that leads me to believe it's just randos. And that's fine. And that brings me to the note that I referenced earlier. His voice does not appeal to me. I don't like it.
Agreed. I don't like it either, but I do think he's just doing essentially a Fall Out Boy or whatever other...
I mean, it's the style.
Yeah, but you don't have to do that. Like, all these bands don't have to sound like they're fronted by the same jackass.
Yeah, no, I agree. Which is to say, a more ridiculous version of Green Day.
Yes.
Like, it's almost a parody.
Yeah, exactly. So there's that. There's also the song titles. Now, a lot of these song titles and lyrics are taken from Chuck Palahniuk's work. We will get into that more in a moment, because don't do that.
Unavoidable.
Right. But it's very irritating because the titles, I don't think on any song, relate to any of the lyrics or what the songs are about. They not even thematically. Much. They all come off like, do you remember the track listing to David Cross's Shut Up You Fucking Baby? Right. Now,
Diarrhea Mustache.
Yeah, exactly. Fun side story. When I was a junior in college, Garrett has heard this song. Has heard this story. Jesus Christ.
Well, sorry.
When I was a junior in college, I was
pretty sure I was going to choke and die on Snapple. And that made me laugh so much harder.
Pronounced Snapple, but yes. So when I was in junior in college, I was at my parents' house and I decided, or I had a hard drive. It was like over the summer or over like winter break or whatever. It had about 200 gigabytes of illegally obtained music and the hard drive failed. The disk wouldn't spin or whatever. I'm not a fucking computer nerd. Anyway, I asked my dad if he could fix it.
Feels like a knock on me, but okay.
Well, it's a knock on our computer nerd interns more than that. Anyway, I asked my dad if he could fix it, and he said, of course I can. I can easily extract all the files off of that brick, which partially helped to raise my suspicions that I lived in Saudi Arabia because my dad was involved in some sort of international or possible industrial espionage. Anyway, he made me a copy of the new hard drive, and as he was giving it to me, he simply said, I didn't listen to it, but I noticed there was an audio file on there called Shaving the Pope's Pussy. Fuck you, David Cross. If I ever come across you, I promise you I will give you a diarrhea mustache.
I have no defense of what you found, Father. Anything I say will sound like a lie and possibly earn me a striking.
Yeah, it was horrifying. Honestly, I might have rather he found a video of a Pope's pussy being... Because what is the audio?
No. You know what else? Well, that's true. That's true. I guess it depends on which Pope we're talking about. At the time, it would have been JP2, I guess. So it's, Italian?
I think it would have been... I think it would have been the Nazi one.
Oh.
Ratzinger.
Don't forget to get the...
Jesus Christ. Also...
In Deutschland, the hole is also... You shave it. You shave it.
We're going to have to bleep all of that.
Most of it, yes. You keep Deutschland.
Yeah, absolutely. No, you know what? They'll know. They'll know what you're talking about if you keep Deutschland. Ugh. Anyway.
Let's talk about the style of music.
Sure.
Pop punk is on the surface.
Sure.
Below that, though, is a lake of emo.
Yes. And there's dance music. There's drum machines. At least one of the songs for about the final minute of it has like a legitimate Mortal Kombat feel to it, like the theme.
Favorite part.
And interestingly, so the band, they intentionally divided this up into two parts, right? The first part is the more pop punk, this dance rock emo part, and the second part they wanted to feel like Baroque pop, almost vaudevillian. Now, I will argue that for the most part, they did not accomplish that. There are a few songs, and it does delve into, so there's accordion, cello, strings, some horns on the second half, but it is still decidedly pop punk and dancey nonsense with like drum machines and such.
Absolutely. It is to say, in the back third, they introduce these Baroque styles, but they are not beholden to them. It's not thematic. They just are injected into the mix that already was Panic at the Disco.
Right.
They introduced this Baroque style, and it's not consistent. Now, Tim, I have to say, I don't know if you know this. Baroque, one of my 17 favorite words.
I do know that.
Oh.
I have a list.
Oh, well, then I guess you won't be buying the book. But listeners, soon, Amazon.com. Garrett's 17 favorite words. Find out what they are and why.
May I give everyone a little taste of another one?
I would love for you to, but saw you on the inhale, so just hold it. I'm trusting you not to abuse this situation.
You know what? I'm not going to say anything because I cannot do that.
Hold on, whisper in my ear what you were gonna say.
All right.
Oh,
But I'm right,
like underneath,
right? Like maybe 18?
maybe 18. You know, you're right. That's totally number 18, and that's why we stopped at 17. Back to this shitty album.
Yes. Pete Wentz served as what is known as a advisor to the group on lyrical content. Yuri said he was always there to help out with a line here, a line there. They did the long song titles is a very Fall Out Boy kind of thing, which is I don't know why you would copy that.
Yeah,
specifically.
it's like, honestly, as an outsider, it is like having to deal with a bunch of friends and their inside jokes, but it's an album, so that's weird.
Sure, and it's also irritating because typically, if you're like, hey, put on this song, like maybe if that song has anything to do with what the song's about, or some of those, like I don't even think any of these song names are in any of the songs. It's just fucking confusing and it's stupid. It's just dumb.
Well, yeah,
and
it's particularly frustrating for this show because we're looking to build a story, understand these people, and when one has nothing to do with the other, like you come in thinking the only difference between martyrdom and suicide is press coverage, like, okay, I'm going to be looking for those themes in this song.
Or
nope.
I'm going to be looking for a song that's about Chuck Palahniuk's Survivor, and we don't get that either. The other thing, though, so I think at the oldest, they are 19, maybe. One of them is 19 when this came out. And, it's kind of dumb. It's a little pretentious. It definitely lacks originality. But if you imagine the podcast we would have made at 19, I mean, obviously you are a much older man than I was when I was 19, so we would have had to do it like Lake House style. And I want to say I would welcome you as either my Sandra or Keanu, but it would have been mostly shitty and weird Chuck Palahniuk references like this, and I would be really embarrassed about it by now, because this is a thing that you should grow out of immediately, and well, not immediately, but like by 25, like you should not be super into Chuck Palahniuk books. When you're 19, if you're a guy, you probably were. But either way, worse though than the podcast though, because that's recorded and it's embarrassing and it's our past, just as all of the episodes, including the classic ones, are embarrassing and in our past. We don't have to go up on stage and repeat those like every fucking night, like think about if it's 2022, you're this Yuri fella and you're hiding a series of dark secrets and you're performing like these songs that you wrote when you were 19, or your buddy wrote and then he left
I was
the
gonna
band.
say, they're not even yours.
Right, but they're all about Chuck Palahniuk books.
Or even worse, Tim, what if you and I, what is it, 2023? What if in 2020, what if in 2026, you and I are going up on stage to 300 people and they're screaming, tip it back, oops. No, man, new jokes, new bits, new fun.
Yeah, and I mean, the good thing about this is we literally shred it and burn it. So if one of us doesn't remember, if we're not making the reference, we don't have any idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, it is really strange because it's a phenomenon of podcasting, because you and I listen to podcasts as well, not our own. We're not psychos. We edit it, but we don't like listen for fun mostly. I can remember stuff very specifically from podcasts I've listened to, but I can't remember jack shit about ours.
Right, yeah.
And I believe that to be the case across all podcasting, and I don't know exactly what it is. You'd think the most personal thing to you would be the thing that was most firmly planted, but it's the thing, well, I mean, we literally shred and burn all evidence of the episode, except for the recording.
Yeah.
Maybe that's it.
It's probably that, yeah.
All right, Tim, we have talked a lot about everything but the music. Are you ready?
Absolutely.
Let's do it then. Track number 1, introduction and instrumental.
Ladies and gentlemen, we proudly present a picturesque score.
Just like all good albums, we start out with some radio static and then some Polish, I guess?
Correct.
Saying the German met with widespread popularity in the same. That's not helpful.
Yeah.
And then we get the guy saying, presumably Yuri saying, ladies and gentlemen, we proudly present a picturesque score of Passing Fancy. I think there's a sample from one of the other songs on this album in here.
Yep.
But this kind of comes across as somebody that listens to the Decemberists in secret, but just won't admit it because that would make him seem uncool to his pop punk bros.
It's a band I used to really like.
Yeah.
Less so now.
Fair enough. And that's pretty much it. That's track number 1, introduction. Track number 2, the only difference between martyrdom and suicide is press coverage.
Your thing is for me. Good, now we're making some progress. Come on, just tap.
I
have so many problems with everything you've done.
Well, I'm going to read everyone like that, so.
God. I mean, it's befitting. Coming out of the intro directly into track number 2, it's actually quite jarring. As Tim mentioned, that title is a reference to a quote from the novel Survivor by Chuck Palahniuk, which has nothing to do with this song.
Sure. Yes.
So much so that the first thing I did, Tim, after listening to this song was I went to dictionary.com and I typed in martyr. And accurately, still has nothing to do with this song, but I did learn something. The second definition for the word martyr reads, quote, a person who displays or exaggerates their discomfort or distress in order to obtain sympathy or admiration. Basically, my question to you is, can a definition be sarcastic?
Well, I think yes, it basically is, but it's a definition of the sarcastic usage of that word. Like, don't be a fucking martyr.
Yeah, I had no idea that dictionaries did that.
I guess if it's in use, in popular use, more so than the primary definition, I don't know why you wouldn't, but yeah, it's kind of odd.
Weird dictionary fun facts for you.
Let's not make that a thing.
Yeah, I can't argue that. So musically, I don't really have any issues with most of this song, but it's the lyrics, Tim. It's the lyrics where I have plenty. Song opens, sit tight. I'm going to need you to keep time. Come on, just snap, snap, snap your fingers for me. Good, good. Now we're making some progress. Come on, just tap, tap, tap your toes to the beat.
Yeah, I already have a huge problem with this.
You know, I want to be fair because we've listened to way worse than this. So I'm trying to be an optimist here. But I hate it when they address the listening audience.
Sure. Yeah, no, the problem is that they're pretending it's like a live record, yes. Which again, I'm not sure they've done it. When this was recorded, they might not have ever performed live.
That's what my research says.
So it's odd, but this is also not the last time on this album that they will like ask the audience to participate in the music on a fucking studio album, and it's stupid. It's really dumb.
Yeah. I also don't like the implication that I'm not ready to rock as hard as he is, and I'm going to have a hard time keeping up, because Tim, I am ready to rock as hard as Panic at the Disco can.
You feel like they're calling you out, that they are calling you an old man with this snap, snap, snap your fingers, tap, tap, tap your toes.
Like, get ready. You better get ready. It's coming in hot. We're Panic at the Disco. And I'm like, yeah, that's all right. I can handle it.
Interesting. Okay. So you're starting this off as a grouchy old
personally
man,
attacked,
and I'm into it. It does start off pretty pretentious after that. It says, and I believe that this may call for a proper introduction, and don't you see, I'm the narrator and this is just the prologue. About this, they said, this song is about fantasizing what the fuck are we gonna do about it if this band gets big, and worrying about that. Future tripping, basically. It was pretentious because we hadn't done anything. It's just, I don't like them. I have far less of a problem with their music than I do with all of these people.
They're just young and dumb.
Yeah, okay, that's fair.
The problem.
Yeah, they do seem to require a strict contract with the listener or some sort of mutual oath. They said, swear to shake it up if you swear to listen. Oh, we're still so young, desperate for attention. I aim to be your eyes, trophy boys, trophy wives. Now, Garrett, the concept of trophy boys upsets me quite a bit.
Oh, okay. I thought you were about to give me a fucking literal definition of what a trophy boy was.
Well, I have some suggestions. No. Is it okay? Are they perhaps an older gentleman's trophy boys as I was yours? Are they treating it like a trophy wife where they're adopting really hot kids somehow? The most attractive of orphans? I don't understand.
Please stop. This is all so upsetting. Oh my God. First of all, I'm 2 years older than you. I was not an older man with a boy. Jesus Christ, we were friends.
Technically,
in college.
you were an adult.
Yes, I was an older man,
and I was.
We were technically not an adult.
Right? How'd I get those cigarettes, Garrett? Maybe he's saying he will be whatever you want for fame and glory. If you want him to be the guy you see the world through your eyes, fine. If you want him to be the perfect son, fine. If you want him to make you feel good, also in.
God damn it. I think that's actually the most accurate read of this, and that's bad. Mine was, it sounded like weird cult stuff, like, I am your eyes, and I see deception, and you are my trophy wives, and you, my trophy boys. Should have gone with trophy guys. Trophy wives, trophy guys.
No, but see,
underage inclination.
That's the thing, Garrett. It's a very specific thing, because it's not. He's adopting attractive orphans.
To what end, Tim?
To show them off. They're his trophy boys.
Little buff boys.
Garrett, you don't get trophy boys if you're not planning on showing them off. Here's the thing. I don't know that I cannot hate an album that makes me think this much about trophy boys. If he hadn't put trophy wives right after that, implying there's some sort of weird boys sexual connection, I wouldn't.
Okay, we got to draw a line. I will get on board that he is adopting exclusively attractive children. Can we just agree it's so that he has a handsome family?
Well, sure. Yeah, no, he wants to pretend that his genetics are better than they are. I've seen these guys. They are emo-y, and their genetics lack a certain je ne sais quoi. I think it's a series of G's and C's, but yes.
My goodness, very specific. Song continues. Dear studio audience, I have an announcement to make. It seems the artists these days are not who you think, so we'll pick back up on that on another page. What?
Well, Garrett, I think what they are trying to say is that they are the pure artists, the ones that are really in this for the right reasons, the ones that are, they're not in it for the money. That seems wrong, though.
Right, because all they've gotten so far is money. They've not actually played shows.
A show, even singularly. But so I got to thinking, maybe what they're saying is, so they're just dipping their toe into the music business, right? They're just starting to see how everything works, just getting to know the agents and the managers and the record executives, other famous bands, Pete. And Garrett, maybe these people are not who you would expect them to be, Maybe they're like werewolves or secret samurai or like British agents infiltrating our country.
Wide range of options.
Well, yeah, so I'm just saying, I don't know what he means by this, because he says we'll pick back up on that on another page, implying he's going to come back around to this idea, and then he doesn't.
Okay, yeah, that's exactly my point, is that it just never really connects the dots.
Yeah, what does that mean?
Then we get to the techno breakdown, where they say, swear to shake it up, you swear to listen, over and over again.
Yeah, I thought this was very Mortal Kombat-y.
Yeah, I liked the techno breakdown. Didn't see it coming, but appreciated the change.
Enough.
Then we get a lot of la la la, da 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 da.
Yep.
Something like that. And that's technically the outro, which brings us to track number 3, the incredibly long title, London Beckons Songs About Money Written by Machines.
Garrett, if I may, that's track number 3, London Beckons Songs About Money Written by Machines.
That intonation makes no sense here.
Just a white train through the web scene. Make us hit, make us hit, make us scene.
All right, well, let's get the title out of the way, since it really won't be referenced again. It's a quote from the Douglas Copeland book, Shampoo Planet. The actual quote is, extremely torrid tunage from London Beckons Songs About Money Written by Machines. And that means almost as little to me as the title itself.
Fair enough.
So we'll just continue.
Are you familiar with who Douglas Copeland is?
No.
He wrote the book Generation X that came up with, I don't know if he's credited with actually inventing the term, but he's definitely the guy that made Generation X the name of a generation.
Oh, weird.
Yeah.
And started us down that fun little naming convention.
Yeah. Fuck that guy.
Yay. Fuck that guy. So we're going to address it specifically in a minute, but a trend you and I have seen now in this particular genre of music, and to some extent the SoundCloud rapists, is to write a song in the album that you're currently listening to about how they've finally made it and how great they are. Yeah. But this is the first one.
Yeah. There's no possible way. And with SoundCloud rapists, it's even a little bit less egregious because they've been releasing songs on SoundCloud, so they presumably have had some popularity. The only person that has ever heard these guys play is Pete Wentz and Colin Powell.
Potentially Colin Powell.
Right. Yeah. Stop stalling. Make a name for yourself. Boy, you better put that pen to paper. Charm your way out. If you talk, you better walk. You better back your shit up with more than good hooks while you're under the gun. Start talking a sensationalist, blah, blah, blah. It comes off as if he's like equating songwriting to fighting. Like, if you're able to play good music, you better have good lyrics to back that shit up. Like, it feels like Pete Wentz brought them into the Fueled by Ramen or whatever, and some skeptical, like, record executive was just like, no. Listen, if you guys are that good, you write a song right now, right on the spot, to prove that you're good enough to be here, because I haven't heard shit.
Oh, I think you're actually much closer to reality than you realize. I honest to God believe that that this song was written while sitting at a music studio after they got the record deal, and Pete Wentz was like, hey guys, really excited for you to join the label. Just a reminder though, you got what you wanted, you got your record contract, need to see that record.
Yeah, you're gonna have to actually do this thing.
Yeah, nope. Really excited. I think you guys, you're gonna be huge. Can't wait to go on tour. Just so you know though, kind of put my name on the line, and I know I seem like the boss and it's really cool. And Pete Wentz, I have several bosses that they're gonna need to see that. You're gonna need to see that album.
Several bosses that do not believe in you.
Yeah. So please don't fuck this up. Seriously though, don't fuck this up. I think they really were under the gun. They got the contract. Okay, make an album, and they're like, oh right, we're kind of only a band in name. I guess do you guys want to hear some Blink-182? No, we do not. We actually don't. What do you do? What's your thing? Do your thing. Okay, so then you get the pre-chorus. Panic, meet the press. It's time for us to take a chance. It's time for us to take a chance. Panic, meet the press. It's time for us to take a chance, etc. So the pre-chorus is hey, this is your big chance, big debut. They're being turned over to the press. It's likely they're being asked a whole bunch of questions they don't have answers for. And to your point, Tim, they're 19. At 19, if you and I had been put in front of microphones, it would have been a nightmare. I was an idiot.
Just a bunch of Chuck Palahniuk quotes that for some reason I had on my brain.
That you and I would be giggling at and nobody else.
Yep.
Were we the Panic?
No, Garrett, no. Look at them.
Okay.
Look at them.
Fair enough. Okay. Boy.
Yeah.
Can an album gaslight you?
Yes. Especially when they speak directly to us, as they do.
Yeah, suddenly I was like, am I the problem?
Culturally, Garrett, yes.
I thought I was the solution.
Also, internationally, you've caused some problems for a lot of good men, Garrett.
Sorry,
Too specific.
Sorry, North Africa.
Still too specific. It sounds like, so they're having to write a song for the first time, and it sounds like they believe that the strategy for becoming famous is to, instead of making a good album or writing a good song, it's to be personally weird or interesting enough for webzines, which is not a thing anymore, to be interested in publishing about them, which kind of comes off because this is slightly before the big Britney Spears thing, but there was a shit ton of celebrity nonsense.
I see what you mean. This was the early aughts kids was this beautiful time where webzines had taken the place of fanzines, and get ready, strap in, here comes the old guys. Fanzines were physical, homemade magazines about literally a scene of music, or even sometimes just a singular band, or really any fucking topic, because there were skateboarding zines and all sorts of shit. CKY2K, Can't Kill Yourself, etc., which later turned into Jackass and Bam Margera's whole thing. Bam, I hope you're doing okay. Anyway, the webzine culture was interesting in that it were these little enclaves on the internet that were super jazzed. Emo pop punk seriously went deep into this, but what I thought, maybe I'm giving them too much credit, Tim, they say, well, we're just a wet dream for the webzine, makes us hip, make us a scene, or shrug us off your shoulders, don't approve a single word that we wrote. And they say that twice. I think that's them saying hey, we're pretty much a carbon copy of all the shit you like, so let's put us through the machine, let's get us on those webzines, we're a wet dream, we're exactly what you guys are looking for, put us through the machine, make us popular, we're ready to be the next Fallout Boy, or allegedly shrug us off, or just cast us out, we don't care.
Oh, they care so much.
They care so much.
And more importantly, Pete and Colin care.
Yeah, well, they've invested a lot of money.
Yeah, a lot of that dirty money.
Yellow I was just literally reading the other day when the whole WMD theory was getting cooked up. Part of it was they had detected ammonia in a storage facility in Iraq, and later they tested it and they were like, it's pee. It was pee. But they didn't get the test back until after Pete Wentz's uncle had addressed the UN and was just like, uranium.
I feel like that is a lie to make them look stupid instead of evil.
Oh God, you're probably right. It's better to have been mistaken about urine than to have just out and out lied.
Yeah. The second verse, Garrett, is basically the first, but it does feature some lines I genuinely like because it is a wonderful description of how intensely satisfying smoking a cigarette is. He says, I'm burning and I'm blacking my lungs. Boy, you know it feels good with fire back on your tongue. If you talk, you better walk, blah, blah, blah. The first verse again, because they just keep doing that.
Yeah, there's a lot of songs that are the first verse verse repeated.
Yeah,
but that's
which
okay.
makes it a
Just
chorus, right?
Yes.
Okay.
But it also means that we don't have to analyze as much of the songs, which is good news for us, because I don't know if you've noticed, Tim, we're struggling.
Yeah, that's fair. We do get another Chuck Palahniuk reference, so we are 2 for 2 in actual songs here. Just for the record, the weather today is slightly sarcastic, with a good chance of A, indifference, or B, disinterest in what the critics say. This is from Diary, I believe. Just for the record, the weather today is partly suspicious, with chances of betrayal is one of the things he says.
I did not remember that at all. Good catch, but largely immaterial to the song itself.
Oh,
and
completely
I would argue
unrelated.
a lie.
Yeah.
Because, granted, they might have some sarcasm or some bite, but they care. There's not indifference. There's not disinterest. They care what the critics have to say.
And then, just like the previous song, with about a minute to go, this song changes into a bunch of bleeps and blorps and other nonsense.
I think this might have been what 21 Pilots was listening to.
Interesting.
Is that how you get that?
Maybe. They just did only the last minute of these guys' songs.
Yeah, they were like, I really hate the first 2 minutes, but the last minute, what if that was the whole song?
In track number 4, Garrett, nails for breakfast, tacks for snacks. Fucked me.
That's when you started something profound. The support on
Well, gross.
Yeah, this song is an upbeat bummer.
It is an upbeat bummer. I want to say the title, Nails for Breakfast and Tacks for Snacks, it sounds like the slogan of a Pee-wee football team. What do we eat, boys? Nails for breakfast and tacks for snacks, coach.
Yeah, no, and that's actually what that phrase means, right? It's to eat nails. It's like to, don't talk to that guy. That guy eats nails for breakfast. Like he's a tough guy.
It's supposed to be a tough guy.
Right, which is not what this song's about in any way, shape, or form. It appears to be about RR's dad being an alcoholic, and it's kind of sad.
It's super sad, and I would say mildly... Oh, well, actually, let me ask you this, and I know you're not going to remember, but I'll ask it just in case. Is this song more aggressively auto-tuned than all the other music?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Well, there's another song I think that's worse, but yeah, the first verse, it's weird.
It's robot voice.
Yep.
It's jarring. And not the topic for that, right?
Absolutely not. It's definitely not the one to bring it up on for the first time.
Yeah, like it's just a very odd song to have such a fun, upbeat tempo to let's get into it. He says, "Watch your mouth, oh, because your speech is slurred enough that you might swallow your tongue. I'm sure you would want to give up the ghost with just a little more poise than that." Great. So, we've got a man who's slurring his speech. Likely his father is in bad shape after a lifetime of alcoholism. And so I'm going to say it right here. I'm inclined to believe his father's probably much younger than he should be to be this close to death.
Yeah.
And he's basically saying, look, if you're going to die, I'm sure you'd like to do it with a bit more dignity than you have currently.
Yeah, pretty much.
And guess what, folks? It gets more depressing. The next quote-unquote verse is the hospice. Folks, listen, I'm not going to tell you how to write a song, and far be it from me to say I'm any good at it. But unless you're literally writing an album like A Crow Looked at Me, look it up if you're looking to have a good weep.
It's a great album.
Great album. But if your verse has the word hospice in it, let's go with a draft 2.
Right. And here's the thing. He also does not know what a hospice is.
Well, maybe.
All right.
So he says, the hospice is a relaxing weekend getaway where you're a cut above all the rest, sick and sad patients on first name basis with all the top physicians. So I'm guessing what you're saying, Tim, is it sounds like you're in a detox, not a hospice.
Sure. Or that he has been hospitalized for his severe alcoholism, possibly liver failure. But I think he keeps getting checked into hospice because he is at end of life care due to a lifetime of alcoholism. Okay. But the moment you put somebody in hospice and they're like, no more drinking, and you get him all loaded up for the DTs with various drugs so he doesn't die or swallow his own tongue, starts to get better pretty quickly because he's not funneling a bunch of poison into his body. That's my guess. It could just be bad songwriting. We either know too much or not enough. That's fair.
Yep.
Prescribe pills to offset the shakes, to offset the pills. You should take it a day at a time. To me, it still sounds like that part of the chorus there still sounds like this is not you have 6 months to live, or the medical establishment believes you have 6 months to live kind of thing.
Sure. And it could be either way. Who knows? I certainly don't care enough to argue it. Either way, we can agree that he is so incredibly addicted to alcohol that he has to be prescribed pills so that he doesn't die when he stops.
Absolutely. We've all been there. That's when you stutter something profound to the support on the line, and with the way you've been talking, every word gets you a step closer to hell. I don't necessarily think I understand what this means here.
The prescribed meaning I gave it is that nine times out of 10, what he says to his son is really mean and not necessary. And then he'll say something like, I know I've been a bad father, but it's just my way of saying I love you. And he's like, wait, what? Did you just say you love me? I've been waiting like 20 years to hear that, but could you say it again? He's like, no. Oh, great. Thanks. I mean, that's my guess. Again, poor songwriting.
Sure. Okay.
Song continues. I am alone in this bed, house and head. She never fixes this, but at least I am alone. And he repeats this. Is she a lady or is she pills?
I assumed she was
Or
Lady
alcohol.
Liquor, yeah.
Ah, yes. Sweet Lady Liquor.
Because otherwise
Yeah,
he's
so-
like blaming somebody very specific.
Right, and that seems shitty.
Yeah. Like, mom never fixed dad. What?
That's not her job. And when I came home sad from seeing my dad in the hospital, my girlfriend never made it better. Huh? You're a weird, petty guy.
Yeah.
Maybe
well,
draft two.
you know what? That might be what it means then, because he is a weird, petty guy.
First draft, last draft, out the door. Then we get a chorus and an outro that's shockingly similar to the chorus, and that brings us to track number 5, if you'd like, Tim.
Camisado. Actually, that one works well.
Okay, you know, that one made some sense and felt right, but I do want to say I do not co-sign this at all.
Take the kid from the fight, take the fight from the kid. Sit back, relax, sit back, relax.
So, a camisado is a surprise attack occurring at night or at daybreak when the enemy is supposed to be asleep. Garrett, is that what this song's about?
No.
Right, because
Maybe?
it's about his dad's alcoholism again.
Yeah, so here's the thing, gang. If you were worried that were not more songs about drinking fathers, don't worry. That's just more of the same. It's the same song.
Yeah, so RR was asked if his dad approved of these lyrics, to which he said, we haven't talked about the album directly. I'm sure that he knows they're about him,
Yeah, no shit.
but he hasn't acted any differently toward me like he's mad or disappointed. He plays the CD all the time. It's kind of funny. He might
Well,
not.
he's pretty drunk.
He might not know. All right.
He's pretty drunk.
Yeah.
Song opens, the IV in your hospital bed. This was no accident. This was a therapeutic chain of events.
This kind of reminded me of My Chemical Romance's Black Parade, just not as good.
Yeah, boy, we owe them an apology and a re-listen.
Yeah.
I don't want to do either.
Fair enough. But yeah, so this is about seeing his dad in the hospital, I guess.
Yeah, he says, this is the scent of dead skin on a linoleum floor. This is the scent of quarantine wings in a hospital. I'm not so pleasant, and it's not so conventional. It sure as hell ain't normal, but we deal. We deal. Likely in detox, possibly a psych wing where all the gurneys have straps all the time. And while it's not pleasant or conventional, it is his life. Then he continues, just sit back, just sit back, just sit back and relax. Just sit back, just sit back, just sit back and relapse again. Which, you know, is very relatable. His father in and out of various detox and or hospices. And he's moaning, complaining, obviously not happy to be there. And he knows that all of this is not going to cure jack shit. And he'll just relapse when they release him again.
Yes, classic tale, old as time. I
Good
do
old pop punk.
Yeah, I like the way you can't take the kid from the fight, take the fight from the kid. I like the way that sounds.
Okay.
I don't know what it means exactly in this context.
If you can't take the kid from the fight, so you take the fight from the kid. Oh, maybe the fight is booze. He's got to take that fight from him.
Okay, and then the
Sit
kid is
back,
his dad,
relax.
which is
Yeah,
confusing.
so yeah, that part is obvious.
Yeah, I too referred to my father as the kid.
Well, when your father behaves like this, you definitely would.
Oh, fair enough.
Sit back, relax, sit back, relapse again. Ba 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 do. Just reading the words. Can't take the kid from the fight. Take the fight from the kid. Just sit back. Just sit back. It sort of implies that his father has to be locked up if he wants him to stop drinking, and it's only temporary until he gets out and begins again.
Fair enough. Then it gets even sadder in the bridge somehow.
Oh yeah.
You're a regular decorated emergency. The bruises and contusions will remind me what you did when you wake. You've earned your place atop the ICU's Hall of Fame. The camera caught you causing a commotion on the gurney again. You
It implies his
know,
father's causing some issues at the hospital.
camisado.
Yeah, what? I guess his dad is the sneak attack?
Maybe. I don't think so, though.
I don't know, maybe he was waiting till his son fell asleep in the ICU and then he wheeled himself out using a series of broom handles to maybe start chugging isopropyl alcohol. I don't know.
Ladies and gentlemen, younger listeners, stick to ethanol.
Oh my God, stick to neither. Oh.
No.
Stick
Stick to ethanol. If you're drinking, you want to be drinking ethanol.
Get help. And then the whole song largely repeats, and since it's such a huge bummer, let's move on. Track number 6, Tim.
Time to dance.
Have some composure, where is your posture? Oh no, no.
You know it's starting to grow.
Yeah. This is apparently based on the events of Chuck Palahniuk's novel Invisible Monsters. Garrett, this book I read and fucking hated. I don't even know that I finished it. I think it's told all out of order, and I don't think my brain processed it correctly.
It's not as bad as God, what was that one
Rant.
that you were like?
You're thinking of Rant.
Buster Casey.
Yeah, that book can go fuck itself too. I really tried to get into a series of this guy's lesser good books, and they are not very good. But the book is about a model whose jaw is shot off, and then it's like a disjointed thing about her. She goes and travels with some lady named Brandy Alexander, who I believe is a trans woman. And then there's a mass shooting. She kills a bunch of people at her wedding. You don't need to read the book.
Shoots the wrong person.
Oh, all right. Cool. So now that we've spoiled the book, don't bother reading it. It is not as good as our description of it.
Sadly, you are correct. I read this book while on vacation in the Caribbean, and I won't say it ruined my vacation, but it didn't make it better.
Sure. This one does seem to be about the book, I think, or at least the title.
I chose to also consider the fact that most people will not have read that book and will be left confounded.
Yeah. Well, she's not bleeding on the ballroom floor just for attention, because that's just ridiculously on. Well, she sure is going to get it. Here's the setting. Fashion magazines line the walls. Now the walls line the bullet holes. I think it's about a model, and there's guns, and it's maybe about the thing it claims to be about.
Yeah, there's been a shooting. They're in a ballroom where we'll assume is a wedding, but it sounds more like a fashion magazine's having a party. Why would you have fashion magazines lining the walls? But that's fine. And there's been a death. But what the song is kind of implying is that it was staged for attention. Like she actually got shot, but was doing it so that people would look at her.
Okay.
Have some composure. Where is your posture? You're pulling the trigger all wrong. Have some composure. Where is your posture? You're pulling the trigger all wrong. I pictured a Scream scenario, like they're trying to stage a murder, but everyone was supposed to be fine, but shot the wrong spot, and now she's actually dying.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It happens more than you think.
More than you'd like.
About 50% of murders were actually intended to be
fake murders.
Yeah, somebody faking their death, and then, and not most people are bad at this.
Yeah, or a lot of those gunshots and stabbings are people who are trying to make themselves look like a hero, but
Yeah, I've done that several times.
Yeah, it's there's probably a word for it. I call it sad.
All right.
Let's see
what you want, friend. I'm a hero to a large number of people.
You're a liar to one, though.
Yeah.
Give me envy. Give me malice. Give me your attention. Give me envy. Give me malice. Baby, give me a break. When I say shotgun, you say wedding. Shotgun wedding. Shotgun wedding.
This is another example of that stupid call and response or like audience participation there that they do.
Right.
But they don't even have the band say the wedding, right? When I say shotgun, you say wedding. At least have the rest of the band in the background shout wedding. Yuri just does
Tim,
both parts.
They've never played for anyone, so they don't know.
God damn it.
Yeah, I know.
Folks,
stupid. Why did you have us listen to this? It's not very good. And it's not as fun as I would like. The titles are fun, but the songs don't relate to them. And that's just, it's enraging.
Yeah.
Tim, I don't think they have our best interests at heart.
No, they definitely don't. But I do think that in retribution, we should read the entire oeuvre of Chuck Palahniuk. And instead of doing albums for the next few weeks, just talk about those terrible, a couple of them aren't terrible, unless he's reading them, because I like to do audiobooks. And I hate that guy's voice. Anyway, that's what we'll do. No more albums. Fuck you guys.
Chuck Palahniuk, the next 6 weeks. Song continues. She didn't choose this role, but she'll play it and make it sincere so. You cry, give me a break, but they believe it from their tears and their teeth, right down to the blood at her feet. So she didn't mean to die, but she's gonna milk it for all it's worth. As you should, I guess. You're dying, why not? I guess this is all supposed to be a vague reference to, I don't know, celebrity and attention, but they never really do the heavy lifting.
Yeah, there is an aspect of like the SoundCloud rapist to this where they have a verse, and that one verse makes sense, but it doesn't really make sense, or it doesn't really relate to any other part of the song. They've just got like, okay, you've got a verse, but it is all the same guy. I've written 3 different verses. We'll put them together in a song. That's good enough. This is how music works. Yes. And until, and you know what? In their defense, for 18 years, nobody did notice, and then we came along.
Yeah, lucky us. I'm going to skip the rest of my notes and say track number 7, lying is the most fun a girl can have without taking her clothes off.
Lying is the most fun a girl can have without taking her clothes off.
Mine was close to that.
It wasn't, Garrett. It was not sensual enough.
God help anybody that you do that to.
Got more wit, a better kiss, hotter touch, a better fuck than any boy you'll ever meet.
The song's title was taken from Closer.
Closer.
Yeah, goddammit.
It's not Kira Sedgwick's The Closer.
Garrett, I cannot read. You know this.
That's true.
Anyway.
Yeah, but, like, why?
I don't know. It does not relate to the song. The song appears to be some sort of weird and kind of shitty, like, play on Alanis Morissette's You Oughta Know, but it's so sad and it's so fucking delusional. This is get in the ring levels of self-delusion here.
God, you're not wrong. This is about getting dumped and reacting poorly.
The worst way.
The worst way.
Is it still me that makes you sweat? Am I who you think about in bed when the lights are dim and your hands are shaking and you're sliding off your dress? No, it's not. She has broken up with you and she has not given you a second thought. Moving on. Then think of what you did and how I hope to God he was worth it. When the lights are dim and your heart's racing as your fingers touch his skin. Again, not thinking of you at all, RR.
No.
You fucking
She's
lunatic.
That's why she cheated on you.
Yeah.
I've got more wit, a better kiss, a hotter touch, a better fuck than any boy you'll ever meet, sweetie. You had me. He can't possibly support that.
This is the kind of thing that when you get dumped and embarrassed, this is the kind of thing that admittedly you think she's gonna feel so like the next guy, she's gonna realize what she had with me, and by then it's gonna be too late. Nope.
No.
Here's the thing, and Garrett, you can attest to this. There's always a better guy.
Oh, sure.
You're a garbage person. What the fuck are you talking about? Not you specifically. I'm saying like the general you, but also you. I'm saying as somebody.
I'm on a real roller coaster of emotions here.
Let me just say this. As the prototypical guy for whom there is always a better person than you,
yeah.
I'm saying that you can relate to this. That's the only reason I mentioned you, is because you are never the best guy.
See, now again, I felt pretty okay, but at the end, I felt less good about myself.
I'm just saying, look, you can't possibly
Please stop saying. I feel like the explaining is where we get off track. Let's put it this way. He cannot be certain she will never find a better guy. She may meet a Hemsworth.
He can be certain that she will meet a better guy, and it will be the next guy, almost irregardless, your word, not mine, of who that person is.
Thank you. I cannot stand when people say that. It might be on my 31 least favorite words book. It's number 2.
I won't ruin what number 1 is. I know you're waiting for me to, so you can bleep it, but I'm not gonna give you the satisfaction.
It's
God damn it. It is.
I hate it so much. So childish. Don't talk to me like I'm a child. Call it an adult word. Anyway, we're way off topic. Let's see. Song continues. Girl, I was it. Look past the sweat. A better love deserving of exchanging body heat in the passenger seat? No. You know it's always just be me.
Yeah.
What does he mean? Hold on. Is sweat passion? Look past the sweat. A better love deserving of exchanging body heat in the passenger seat. It sounds like he caught her banging somebody in her car.
Yeah, no, he definitely did. He definitely
What
did.
if he came out and caught someone banging in his car? He didn't have anywhere to go.
Yeah, no, and you might get halfway to Jack in the Box. You put that music up loud. I like to really play music loud in my car. You get halfway to Jack in the Box, or all the way to Jack in the Box, and you get your order, your bacon, whatever.
And she's looking at you all crazy when she hands you your bag and your jumbo Jack, and you're like, what's her fucking deal? And then a quarter of a mile down the road, you see somebody fucking raw dogging it in the back seat.
Absolutely.
Jesus.
It is embarrassing. But yeah, no, I think the sweat here is the physical, Garrett. He's saying,
Yeah, the lust.
Look past the yeah, obviously you want to bang other people because I'm terrible at it, even though I'm the best fuck apparently. But I have more like emotional. The better love is clearly me, right? So I think what's happening is he started off with I've got a better wit, better kiss, better fuck, obviously. And then he immediately is just like, no, you know what? No. Look past all the physical stuff. Okay, forget I said all that stuff. The love, I will love you more than he does or something. It's just me. I think he's immediately backtracking.
Oh, I see. Yeah, he's taking it down and he's like, a better kiss? And she's like, not really. A hotter touch? No, he's pretty passionate. A better fuck then? No, he really hollows me out.
Oh, dear God. You have to bleep that.
We'll see. After dark.
No.
You're the one who's had this sexual intonation the entire time. I want to get in the party. I want to get in there.
What you said is upsetting.
Awful.
It is
awful.
It is Red Hot Chili Peppers B-side level of upsetting. And
to be fair, I wasn't saying that. She was saying that as a way to hurt this guy.
Oh, sure, but we still have to bleep that.
I don't think so. I think it's in context appropriate.
Nope.
Sure isn't. Song continues, exchanging body heat in the passenger seat. Yeah, we covered that. No. Okay, anyway. So then he says, let's get these teen hearts beating faster. And I want to ask you, Tim, is he back to addressing the audience? Does he want to get the audiences? Does he want the audience to bang to this song, or is he inviting his ex to come back and bang him?
Well, he says hearts, so...
Teen hearts beating faster.
Right.
I couldn't tell if he was talking to her or if he was addressing the audience.
I don't know.
Must be her. It's got to be her.
Yeah.
Song continues. So testosterone boys and harlequin girls, will you dance to this beat and hold a lover close? So testosterone boys and harlequin girls, will you dance to this beat and hold a lover close? Is it sarcastic? You dumb boys continuing to fall for these quiet pixie girls who will only cheat on you in your car as you drive to get a jumbo jack?
Man, your semi-Hannibal voice of that is terrifying. I think it is. Testosterone boys because they're dumb and they're, dick-driven. Yeah. And harlequin girls because they wear makeup and are clown-like. His words.
Okay, you know what? That's actually his best writing of this album so far. Yeah, because girls are young and they wear makeup incorrectly because they don't know any better and they want to look like adults. That's actually, you know what? I'm going to give it to him. Good job, RR. Side note, Tim, if you want to have a really great evening, RRR, watch it.
Track number 8, Intermission.
Weird techno break that I was mostly into, but then it stops, and they say, ladies and gentlemen, due to circumstances beyond our control, we are unable to continue our broadcast of dance music. We shall continue now with our piano interlude. And then there's some very good piano playing that I'm also pretty into.
Yeah, so I think the ladies and gentlemen bit is from Orson Welles' War of the Worlds.
Oh.
And I agree. I really enjoy the piano, and then there's this like a day in the life-esque kind of build on here. If the whole album had been this, I would really enjoy it, I think. And maybe I wouldn't really enjoy it because the lyrics are pretty stupid, but I could sit there and listen to this thing and just sort of zone out to it and enjoy it, I think.
Yeah, no, I agree. Especially because then there's a chance, and I will say, I'm not even sure if I wrote it in my notes, but as we get into some of the latter songs on the album, they drop a little bit of the and it's a little less whiny.
Sure.
It sounds more like a person singing and not trying to do the pop punk emo voice.
Yep. Track number 9. But it's better if you do.
Holy shit. I turned into Charlie Kelly with the maps and the red string when I saw that and was like, wait, is this another reference to the movie Closer? Is this the other half of the line?
It is.
Why?
I don't know. It also doesn't relate. There's a 2-parter song where the titles are linking the 2 songs into a common theme, and that one theme doesn't relate to either of the goddamn songs.
Correct. Now the songs are related. underrated. I'll say that.
Okay, kinda, maybe, probably.
This is breakup song part 2. That's fair to say.
Okay.
But why does this song... Okay, so interesting side note. I was so flummoxed that there were 2 Closer references. A movie I both own and cannot tell you a single thing about.
No one's seen it.
I saw it in the theater.
No, you didn't. You went to the theater, didn't see a bit of it. No one has seen it.
Well, here's the thing. It made $115 million.
Wow.
Could you imagine that today? That movie?
I don't know. It might be great. I haven't seen it. No one's seen it.
We've watched it.
I don't think so.
I agree. Yeah, it's very confusing. Anyway, that just blew my mind because I was like, okay, 2 Closer references. Is this even like, to my mind, it's the same as that movie. Did you ever see Full Frontal?
No.
Well, there you have it. Very similar. Just like, what is this movie? But I saw it. Or like Roger Dodger.
Okay.
You've seen Roger Dodger. Yeah. Just like that class of like, you saw that, I saw that, Newman saw that, and that's about it. But no, apparently like half the country saw this movie.
Okay.
Yeah, who knew? This song has one thing about it that I find fascinating, and I had to do a lot of digging to get there. Let's take the journey. Now I'm of consenting age to be forgetting you in a cabaret, somewhere downtown where a burlesque queen may even ask my name. As she sheds her skin on stage, I'm seated and sweating to a dance song on the club's PA. The strip joint veteran sits 2 away, smirking between dignified sips of his dignified peach and lime daiquiri. He's in a strip club.
Yeah.
He's trying to get over a breakup, sitting in a strip club.
Yeah, and he feels kind of weird about it.
Yeah, and seems to be paying more attention to a gentleman sipping a peach and lime daiquiri than the dancing ladies, but whatever. Also, I feel like he's trying to class it up. Cabaret.
Yeah, that's true. I kind of think if I saw a guy just sitting there drinking a peach and lime daiquiri and watching women take their clothes off, I might be paying more attention to him too. That's weird. That's a weird thing to do.
Let's take a side note, Tim. What's the weirdest foods to be eating in a strip club? I say anything finger-oriented, like buffalo wings.
Sure. That's a good question.
Hummus.
No, hummus is perfect. Hummus is perfect for any occasion.
Okay, you're biased. Like a crudité, like various cut up vegetables on a plate with some hummus.
Sure.
You'd be okay with that while cinnamon
how about this?
grinds on your lap.
Switch out hummus for baba ganoush. Totally out. That can go fuck itself.
That's disgusting.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I still think hummus in a strip club's weird. Just like a bowl of raisins would be off-putting.
What if you were eating, you brought your own bag of marshmallows and you were just eating them silently while staring at a lady?
Full size or
full
mini
size?
Marsh? That's weirder. I don't know why.
What if you've brought in
any food you bring from home to a strip club is an immediate red flag for the dancer, I think.
You've brought in your
own.
Pull
out a rotisserie.
I like that. You've brought in your own ice cream cone.
Oh,
Because is he simple?
Right? That's the thing. Like, you got to really watch it.
Am I committing a crime by doing this in front of this person?
Oh, that's a different conversation. We don't have time for that one. But I really like this train of thought. Like, because an ice cream cone, there's almost no way to get it in there without people having seen it.
No, sure, yeah. Well, but also you said rotisserie chicken. We may have cut that because I was talking over you, but Garrett did suggest entire rotisserie chicken.
Well, okay, so here's why I say that. Because when I saw Jerry Maguire, a very large gentleman sat down next to me and ate what I believe to be 3 full-sized Arby's meals. And I was but a small child.
Interesting.
And so I did not have the courage to turn to him and say, "What the fuck are you doing with your beef and cheddar? Get out of here." Instead, I watched Jerry Maguire with this lunatic who then went to sleep an hour in, and I had to pee so bad.
In his defense, he had just eaten 3 beef and cheddars. I could take down
You're not
many a
wrong.
man.
God, he applied his own barbecue sauce.
Interesting.
I hated that. Okay, let's continue. He says, "And isn't this exactly where you'd like me? I'm exactly where you'd like me, you know. Praying for love and a lap dance and paying in naivete." Chorus implies that this was all a master plan on her end to leave this man paying for physical contact.
Could be. Did you read what he said about this?
I did, and that's where this is all leading.
Okay.
You take it. Oh, you've probably got it.
So he says, "I had never been to a burlesque show. We were so infatuated with Victorian imagery, the early 1990s stuff, and like a burlesque show seemed so cool, all the vaudeville shit. I don't even think any of us had been to a strip club when we wrote this song. The first time I went to a strip club, I walked in and I saw this one girl, Kelsey, who I went to elementary school with. Instant blast from the past. All of these memories flooded back to me. I was like, Kelsey? She was like, Brandon, holy shit, I'm gonna dance to one of your songs. And she danced to But It's Better If You Do. It was awesome. Confusing thing. Let me start with this. So his claim, this is Brandon Urie, right?
Yeah.
He's claiming that he recognized somebody he went to middle school with. And the story makes it sound like he had not seen this person since middle school. So,
Correct.
So she was, 12 the last time he saw her. And now he's, 20. She's 20. It's 8 years later. And he's in a strip club. And he's claiming that he recognized this person. And that she recognized him.
And was like, check out my butthole.
Yeah.
I assume.
No, I mean, yeah, that's what they do there, Garrett.
It's kind of what you're doing
It's
there.
vaudeville.
But here's the thing. In the song, he says, oh, but I'm afraid that I may have faked it. And I wouldn't be caught dead in this place. Well, that's right. Well, I may have faked it, and I wouldn't be caught dead in this place. But he did go to the place, Tim, which means he didn't fake it. Just lie. Just say you went. You didn't have to go.
That's true. Here's the thing, though. Because he's never been to a strip club before, right? This is his first time. So I submit to you, Garrett, that as this is his first time at a strip club, he was unsure of what he was supposed to do. He thought he was supposed to watch the dance to completion, to climax. And so he thought...
Wait.
No. He thought it would be rude to the strippist if she was stripping and he did not finish, if you will. So he faked a climax while watching her dance.
I love that.
Poor Kelsey.
Yes.
Poor Kelsey.
No, not poor Kelsey.
Well, okay, sure.
At first, poor Kelsey, until he's like, hey, Kels, I gotta be honest. We're old friends. I didn't come. And she was like, oh, that's great news.
It is great news.
That's not what you're supposed to do here. And he was like, oh, thank God. Oh, I gotta go write a song.
Gotta write a song detailing my shame.
This did remind me, Tim, I wanted to tell this story. I'm sure we've told it before. Tim and I, in case anybody can't guess, not big strip club guys. And typically men fall into one of two categories. You're either a big strip club guy, or you're like Tim and I. No thanks, mostly just feel bad. Do you remember that time that you and we went to a baseball game with a third party we won't mention on air? And they were like, and you could take that ticket and go to such and such for a free entry into such and such strip club. And
this is the time when I didn't go with you guys, right? I just let you both do whatever it was that you were going to do there. Go on.
Nope.
Taking my leave of this.
That is not what happened. Tim, we're going to come out of this smelling like roses.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. I'm just going to tell the story as it happened. We didn't do anything. Jesus Christ. I'm not talking about college. After college, and we left a Ranger game, and we literally heard on the radio, take your used Ranger ticket to go to whatever strip club for free entry. And you and I didn't even notice, but our friend was like, oh, it's like on the way back to Garrett's apartment. Like, it's free. We could just stop in. We're like, okay, I guess. And so the three of us went and confirmed Tim and I, not strip club guys. Third dude, we'll call him Bob. Big strip club guy. He just disappeared, spent $200 and came back and was like, my wife's going to be furious. I'm covered in glitter.
I'm covered in glitter, sweat, and jizz.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Tim and I have spent $0 staring at each other. We're just like, I'd like to leave now. There's a lot of sadness and cum in here. No thanks. Also, if I recall, the ladies were. Anyway. So then the song, very important. Back half of the song is some really heavy snare, drum solo business. Then we get the accordion Tim and I mentioned at the beginning of the episode, which devolves into what I can only describe as at least one of the tracks from the Royal Tenenbaum soundtrack. The cello plucking?
Yes, absolutely.
Bum, 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 bum. It was like, oh, yeah, this is delightful. What's this next song going to be? Let's find out together. Track number 10, hit it.
I write sins, not tragedies.
Well, in fact, I'll look at it this way. I mean, technically, our marriage is safe.
The title of this song also comes from Douglas Copeland's Shampoo Planet for some reason.
Oh, does it?
Yep.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Of course. Yeah, and why wouldn't it, Tim? Let's see. This is the song I had heard before. This is the whole reason for the season. The actual song that I heard on the radio and was like, oh, I should talk to Tim about this garbage.
Yeah. This starts off like they're trying to do an Eleanor Rigby for some reason. It's bizarre. Like, it's
a little more sing-songy, and because of the nature of his voice, sounds very Broadway-like to me.
Well, sure, but I feel like that's what they're going for.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
And it also feels a bit too specific to have been completely made up. It's the story of somebody marrying somebody and possibly at the wedding realizing that every single other person in the room has already made their sex with this person that they're marrying.
Let's get into it. He says, "Oh, well, imagine, as I'm pacing the pews in a church corridor, and I can't help but hear, no, I can't help but to hear an exchanging of words. What a beautiful wedding. What a beautiful wedding, says a bridesmaid to a waiter. And yes, but what a shame. What a shame. The poor groom's bride is a whore." Nice. So is he the groom pacing outside, or is he just a casual attendee of the wedding?
I think he is supposed to be the groom.
I agree.
I think this is some sort of indictment of a specific person that he dated at some point.
Okay, interesting. Continues with the chorus. "I chimed in with a, haven't you people ever heard of closing the goddamn door? No, it's much better to face these kinds of things with a sense of poise and rationality," which he says twice. All of this, of course, is to the music. The music backing this is, of course, pop punk, which is confusing.
Yeah, it switches away from the Eleanor Rigby thing pretty quickly there. So I guess what he's saying is he happens upon this, and he's saying, if you just closed the door, I wouldn't know any of this, and I'd be much happier.
Yeah, his gut response is just like, oh, I don't want to hear that. Why would you fucking say that? And then he's like, actually, you know what? It's better to face these things head on. I'm glad I heard that. Song continues. "Oh, well, in fact, well, I'll look at it this way. I mean, technically, our marriage is saved. Well, this calls for a toast. So pour the champagne." And what he's saying is, you've saved us a whole bunch of time and money, folks, because we're not getting fucking married, you whore.
Yeah, and that's this song.
Yeah, it repeats from T to B. Don't cheat on your fiance. Okay, let's keep going. Track number 11. "I constantly thank God for Esteban."
I constantly thank God for Esteban.
In this little number we're graced by two displays of character.
I believe the title is actually a reference to those infomercials for the
It is?
Esteban guitars, which
Esteban.
again,
These are mine.
yeah. Now the song is obviously completely unrelated to that, as all of them are.
Sure.
But yeah.
But I do want to say, best title on the album.
Sure. And musically, I enjoy this song.
Yeah, it's all right. God, those commercials were ludicrous.
Yeah, I like the American Dad about it, where he gets one and then has the devil is Esteban.
That's right. Oh, I love that episode. The song is on the hypocrisy of the church, and it sort of stays around that topic, but then it starts to just talk about hypocrisy in general. And the first verse is a bit of a departure. It's a little jazzy. I got kind of a Ben Folds vibe minus the piano.
What does that even mean?
It means he's actually singing.
Oh, okay.
"Give us this day our daily dose of faux affliction. Forgive our sins forged at the pulpit with forked tongues selling faux sermons." He does not seem to like religious leaders.
Sure, but I feel like it's
All false prophets.
But it's kind of, it always, to me, all of this is, this all relates back to that girl that cheated on him, man. You know, like fucking church, you know, the false prophets, it's a scheme, they're faux sermons, that fucking whore. Just okay. It got weird.
It's a downward spiral of cynicism. Fucking Kirsten's cheating on me with Derek. Jesus isn't fucking real. Wait, what? It's all bullshit. Okay. We took our fucking purity ceremonies at church with me and her, and then she goes and fucks Derek. Oh, well, that's fair. You know what? I wouldn't believe in God either. Especially if it was her idea. Let's pledge abstinence to each other. Oh, okay. I guess we're doing that. Oh, she gave Derek a handy in my Honda while I was getting my fucking Jack in the Box. I love that detail. Just on the way, like have it, like maybe you're already like sneaking some seasoned curlies out on the way home, and you almost fucking choke to death when you see Derek's ass as he's mounting Kirsten.
Well, I like the idea. I like the idea too that they stopped. Right? They thought they got caught, and then they realize that they didn't, and so they're just frozen in the back. Just if we don't move, he won't notice. He'll get out, and then we can get back to it. And so you look back, and they're both just like frozen like deer in the headlights, just staring back at you.
Mid-coitus.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but again, they've paused.
Sure,
They've
but
paused for the 30
it's
minutes.
still mid-thrust.
Well, sure, yeah. It's always
The Mormons
mid-thrust.
call that soaking.
Ugh. No, they don't.
Yeah. Yes, they
No,
do.
they don't. No one says
Yes,
that.
they
No
do.
one says that, and I'm out.
I promise you, they do. Mormons, write in, hatePodMail@gmail.com. Tell Tim what soaking is. I found it disgusting. Song continues, because I'm a new wave gospel sharp, and you'll be thy witness. So gentlemen, if you're gonna preach, for God's sake, preach with conviction. Is he pushing his own religion, or is he just the new anti-gospel of youth?
Jesus. That's fun. I'll join your party.
Can't, sorry, you're too old.
Ah, always.
Song curiously continues, strike up the band, whoa! The conductor is beckoning. Come congregation, let's sing it like you mean it. No, don't you get it? Don't you get it? Now, don't you move. I don't know, church is controlling.
I just wrote unclear how the chorus relates. I don't know, man.
I like your note better.
I'm kind of out on this song.
Yeah, that's fair. Let's move it along. Track number 12. Well, go ahead, Tim.
There's a good reason these tables are numbered, honey. You just haven't thought of it.
I'm wrecking this evening already and loving every minute of it, ruining this.
That worked the least.
Yeah, that's fair. Well, it is the longest. Now, Garrett, this song,
Ooh. Are you going to ask it or am I?
can you relate entirely to this song?
No, what?
Oh.
No. Oh, God.
Maybe,
No.
Maybe we're gonna.
Wait, what?
Well,
What
okay.
do you think this song's about? I was going to ask, is this ska?
Yeah, it kind of is, technically. No, I was saying, Garrett, this song appears to be about inviting all of your closest friends to a fancy dinner party with the sole intention of mentally, emotionally, and physically destroying them to make yourself look and feel better by comparison. This is a Garrett move, and I'm asking you now, can you relate to this song?
Of course I can. Of course I can. Sort of a reverse dinner for schmucks, where everyone's the schmuck but me.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And you've got your handgun under the table just in case.
Just in case. Just in case things go sideways. It's a real varied crew. Don't know how they're going to react to this. No, absolutely. I chose to believe that this song is about the girl who cheated on him. He has tracked her down years later and is intent on ruining her wedding.
Or just her evening.
No, yeah, sure, that's possible. The song is, of course, very sing-songy, very Broadway-like, super strange. He says, please leave all overcoats, canes, and top hats with the doorman. From that moment, you'll be out of place and underdressed. I'm wrecking this evening already and loving every minute of it, ruining this banquet for the mildly inspiring and...
I'm going to say this. I really like my idea way better, but I think yours is right.
Yeah, yours is way more fun and relatable. Song continues. I'll read the last line because I think it goes together. Ruining this banquet for the mildly inspiring, and when you're in your black slacks with accentuating off-white pinstripes, whoa, everything goes according to plan. So first he gets everybody stripped down at an event so that he's the only one that's well-dressed, and then knowing that he's the only one that he's well-dressed, he can then begin performing?
I think...
Is that his revenge, that he panic at the discos at them?
I think by performing, he's doing his shtick, right?
I see.
He's been preparing for this day for a long time. He's got a lot of memorized note cards on how to be the most charming and the most interesting man in the room.
I see. Okay. Yeah, and he's given himself the advantage by stripping everyone of articles of their clothing for no apparent reason. They're gonna notice.
Well, no, of course they are, but even if they notice, there's nothing they can do, Garrett. They look a shambles.
It's all part of the power move.
Yeah. He's a
What,
real...
you going to ask me for your top hat back? Okay.
He's a
Here
real
it is.
Dennis Reynolds. So again, can you relate?
A little. Song continues with really poorly chosen words. I'm the new cancer, never looked better. You can't stand it because you say so under your breath. Your reading lips. When did he get all confident? Haven't you heard that I'm the new cancer, never looked better, and you can't stand it?
Well, he is correct that cancer is a very confident disease. The disease
I don't
is,
know what to make of
the
that.
disease is confident.
Oh, okay, that's fine. Has good reason to be.
Yeah, I suspect what he's saying is that he is slowly going to grow and build and sort of take over this entire event, maybe?
Oh,
until
interesting.
slowly, the wedding, presumably, he's slowly going to become the main attraction of the wedding, supplanting the bride and groom themselves until everyone's
Yes.
staring at him, and, possibly he has eaten one of the other guests.
Oh my.
But
Don't
depending
wanna
on
rule
how
it out.
literal.
Don't want to rule it out. That's a great theory. Maybe he consumed a guest. Could be a small guest.
A boy, perhaps. Sorry.
God, anyway, I want to build this out a little bit further. I want to assume that he managed to snake his way into being the +1 to this wedding so that he could subversively ruin the event. Again, for this girl who broke up with him in high school, see the Jack in the Box incident. Can't repeat it. You know we'll go back down and start adding more details. Can't do it. Can't do it. Want to do it. Can't do it. And instead, he's tracked her down for years after stalking her across multiple cabaret shows for some reason and has found her. He's the +1 and he's there slowly taking over the wedding, exactly as you said, Tim, so that rather than the reception being a celebration of the bride and groom, it will somehow become a celebration of Panic at Disco.
Yes, I agree. I think that's what this song is about.
And tonight you are a whispering campaign. I bet to tell them your name is cheap. I bet to tell them you look like shh. Talk to the mirror. Oh, choke back tears and keep telling yourself that I'm a diva. So he's going around just telling everyone, oh, she looked lovely. Yeah, no, she looked great. You know, she was a real whore in high school, though. Wait, what? I'm her mother.
Yeah.
Oh, well, you know then.
Yeah. Did she never sit you down and tell you that she'd been casually sleeping around and selling drugs to all her friends and their parents? I did that. Does every kid not do that?
Weird. Oh, and the smokes in the cigarette box on the table, they just so happen to be laced with nitroglycerin. Okay, so he kicks it up a notch, arguably Wile E. Coyote move.
Yeah, I was going to say...
I guess he plans to explode her.
Yeah, I was going to say a Looney Tunes-esque murder.
You know, for as few jokes as we have this week, we are in sync. I would say that. Song continues, haven't you heard that I'm the new cancer? I've never looked better and you can't stand it. Says that 3 more times. The bridge is pretty much just a direct repeat of the chorus, reiterating once again how great he is and how much he is there to bring her down. And I know, it just doesn't feel like a night out with no one sizing you up. I've never been so surreptitious, so of course you'll be distracted when I spike the punch. He's got a wingman at that wedding to create a diversion, and then is probably when he makes his move, I don't know, let's say drugs everybody with LSD and lets things get weird.
Oh yeah, I've put a little MDMA in that as well.
Oh, there you go. That's a good time. And then they repeat that 3 times and call it an outro.
Fair enough. Track number 13, the last track. Build, God, and then we'll talk. Talk to me. Allegedly, the title is a reference to Chuck Palahniuk's Choke. I don't have the specific quote, and people debate that on the internet.
Either way, I don't give a fuck.
Yep. This is about banging prostitutes in cheap motels?
Yeah, more importantly, observing others who do so.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I mean, as you do.
The song is odd. There's a lot of, again, really impressive vocal control, not necessarily on board with the sound of his voice. He says, it's these substandard motels on the la corner of 4th and Fremont Street. Appealing only because they're just that unappealing, and practiced Catholics would cross themselves upon entering. The rooms have a hint of asbestos and maybe just a dash of formaldehyde, and a habit of decomposing right before your very la eyes.
Does asbestos have a smell?
I don't believe so. I think that's actually part of the problem.
Okay. Formaldehyde does, though.
Yeah, it does. And is in a lot of things.
Yes.
Like your car. Anyway, so I did do a bit of digging, Tim. Did you see that the corner of 4th and Fremont Street is not a hotel, but the corner of 14th and Fremont Street sure as fuck is?
I did.
It is exactly what they're describing here. A real Texan motel, if you know what I mean.
Oh, yeah. That was a terrifying place.
That was next to the old world headquarters down in Austin. That place was, folks, if you want to have a good laugh, Google the Texan Motel of Austin, Texas. It's been there for, the entire time I lived there, and that was 20 years.
What was the Fort Worth one?
Oh, the Vickery Motel.
The Vickery Motel was worse.
It was much worse. Oh my God. You and I have lived near some fucking sketchy places.
Yeah. Along with people inside, what a wonderful caricature of intimacy. Inside, what a wonderful caricature of intimacy. So he is at this prostitution station, and he appears to be judging the other Johns there, saying, you fools, you're just nothing but a caricature of intimacy. Not like me at all. Not like what I'm
Brandy
doing.
loves me.
Yeah.
Don't you, Brandy? Whatever, baby. I pictured him across the street with a safari safari hat and an oversized set of binoculars.
Oh, I like that.
He is a former Mormon. Along with the people... Oh, you already said that. Tonight's tenants range from a lawyer and a virgin accessorizing with a rosary tucked inside her lingerie.
That's pretty
She's
hot,
getting a
right?
job at the firm... Yeah, it is. She's getting a job at the firm come Monday. And here's my big question. Is she a prostitute? Is she a prostitute who's about to get a job at a law firm? Or is she a lawyer who is prostituting herself for a job at a law firm?
It's very confusing. I think he does not understand that a prostitute remains a prostitute. It sounds like, so the lawyer has gone to the prostitute and he thinks that like now he owes her a job, but that is the job.
Wait, who's the he in that sentence?
The guy,
singer or the
singer,
or the guy?
the singer, the guy hiding across the street with the hat and the, yeah. I love that image, by the way.
But he's also got a megaphone
And a monocle somehow. Yeah.
Oh, I like it. Okay.
And Garrett, most importantly, a vest.
Oh, well, yeah, a safari vest. I can't even with that right now. All right, let's keep going. The missus will stay with the cheating attorney. Moonlighting aside, she really needs his money. A wonderful caricature of intimacy. So he's roasting this lady who is really no better than the cheating adulterer because she prostitutes herself for his money.
Okay, I would argue she's better.
I would too.
Yeah.
The song would. He's saying she's
Oh,
the same.
sure. Yeah, but he's a very judgmental dickhead.
He is a judgmental dickhead because I would say not worth judging prostitutes in general or people that visit prostitutes. I would argue, not having been either, people who visit prostitutes and people who are prostitutes, neither of them are super jazzed about that situation.
Probably not.
I'm gonna guess. Except for a very slim number of people in both camps that are super on board. But they are broken inside.
And not to mention the constable and his proposition for that quote-unquote virgin. Yes, the one the lawyer met with on strictly business, as he said to the missus. Well, only hours before after he had left, she was fixing her face in a compact. There was a terrible crash between her and the badge. She spilled her purse and her bag and held a purse of a different kind.
Questions abound. So, based on what you just said, it sounds like it was a prostitute and the singer just got confused and thought that the attorney had offered her a job. Or she could be a prostitute and she's going to get a job as an attorney, like not as an attorney. Well, maybe, I don't fucking know. But let's just assume like he's going to be like, hey, we need a new receptionist prostitute. Would you like to do that as well?
Maybe he's got so there's the cliche of, the stripper who's working her way through night school or something. Perhaps,
Sure.
Given his first experience at the strip club detailed in a previous song, maybe he's assuming that the prostitute is also working her way through some sort of, I guess she's probably working through day law school, whatever the fuck that is. And so, she's...
That's a good point.
She's meeting with the
lawyer.
lawyer.
A lot of daytime prostitutes. Prostitutes, write in. hatePodMail@gmail.com. I assume more business in the evening. Let me know if it's during the day. Fascinating.
I assume it'd be easier to not get caught during the day, right?
Oh, sure. It's always easier to do crimes during the day.
Interesting. Good to know. Younger listeners, make a note.
But anyway, continuing on with what you said, it sounds like the police constable crashed into the hotel after the attorney had left in order to bust the sex worker. And here's my next question. Let me read the last 4 lines. There was a terrible crash between her and the badge. She spilled her purse and her bag and held a purse of a different kind. Is it A, the attorney's baby, B, the cop's testicles,
Well, that's not that.
or what do you mean it's not that? Maybe to get out of it, she offered to give him a blowy.
I think she's pregnant.
Coin purse.
Nope.
That is a name for testicles.
Fair enough, but I don't think so, no.
No, it's definitely not. But it's funnier.
Yep.
It's definitely funnier. And then the bridge, Tim.
God damn it. The parody of My Favorite Things.
It's so confusing. There are no raindrops on roses and girls in white dresses. It's sleeping with roaches and taking best guesses at the shade of the sheets and before all the stains and a few more of your least favorite things.
So it's, because you read it appropriately, because it's a parody.
It's not done that way.
It's a parody of My Favorite Things, but like the way you read it, it is more Seussian.
Yes. Wait, you're saying their version's more Seussian?
It comes off as more Seussian than a parody of My Favorite Things should.
Yeah, either event, it's silly and it's dumb and I don't like it. I do like the original song. And that's kind of it. We devolve into a cello solo for some reason. I'm super we're into it, and then we get that bridge again, which is to say, raindrops on roses, etc., etc. And then we're done, right?
Yep, that is the end.
I don't know how people feel about that. Me, mildly disappointed. Tim, how did this do?
Well, Garrett, this sold quite well. This sold more than 4 million copies in the US alone. It hit lucky number 13 on the US Billboard 200, number 11 in Australia, number 37 on the Austrian E3 chart, number 43 on the Belgian Ultra Top Flanders, number 19 on the Danish Hitlisten, number 98 in Germany, number 59 in Ireland, number 37 in Norway, number 7 in New Zealand, number 16 in Scotland, number 26 on the Swedish Sverigetoplisten, number 63 on the Swiss Schweizer Hit Parade, and of course, last but never least, number 41 on the Dutch.
Great stuff. What did people think of it?
Well, Garrett, there are 2,657 total reviews on Amazon, 4.8 out of 5 stars on average, 87% 5-star, 2% 1-star. The first review I have is by Kathy Kirkpatrick. It's called One Massive Problem from 2006. Alright, there's just one problem with this band, and it's the song title. The only difference between Suicide and Martyrdom is press coverage. Now, regularly, I would love this title. It's catchy, and it is an amazing comment on society/media/our perceptions as such. But the problem is, I first ran into this phrase in Survivor, Chuck Palahniuk's book released January 4th, 2000, clearly much ahead of this band's time in the spotlight. Also an amazing book for anyone interested. This really is a nitpick, but I have a big problem with people possibly going on and using this as a point for the cleverness of the band, which really is straight from Palahniuk, not even a subtle one-liner. It's the catchphrase for the entire book. So that's my 2 cents. Not a comment on the music, just their blatant disregard for original material, etc. I'm sure it could have been a huge coincidence, or I'm sure somebody could scrounge up another instance of this line, but that's how I see it, and I'm sticking with Chuck on this one, 4 out of 5 stars.
Oh my God. I love it. Folks, you have no idea how many people do this to us, where they're just like, boy, these guys seem to think, and then they don't get everything that we said is to the very end of making it clearly obvious we know what we're referencing. They didn't try to hide it.
Yeah.
They're super upfront about it. They're kind of proud of it.
Stupid and shouldn't be in here, but yeah, it's not being hidden. They're not passing this off as not a reference.
They think it's awesome.
Yes.
Or did.
Yep.
Hopefully they don't anymore.
Probably still do. Just Allie, Garrett, in 2012 said, if you don't own this album, then I weep for you. So I won't act like I didn't judge this band a tad bit before I got to know them. I had chalked up to pop punk, 2 words I cringe to put together, flash in the pan. Normally, if something is really well known and popular, I tend to think it's crappy and leave it to the fangirls. But I'm never too proud to say I'm wrong, and oh how wrong I was. The tone was set with the difference between martyrdom, blah blah blah, a catchy little number that has a dark message I could shake my ass to. If you listen to the words on Nails for Breakfast, Tax for Snacks, you might just become a better person. I think I did. Same goes for Time to Dance. I mean, these guys are good at making hard topics fun to listen about. And I think that's it. I had fun listening to this album, and isn't music supposed to be fun? All in all, I'm glad I didn't let my own self-importance get in the way of awesome music. I hope you don't either. Oh, and P.S. Build God, Then We'll Talk made me poop out of love. 5 out of 5 stars from a gross Just Allie.
I had a feeling. I was like, why did he read this? Where's it going?
Poop.
And then somebody pooped out of love.
Track number 10. Oh.
We do need a transition out of there.
Yeah. Tim Burrow, not our best Tim, from 2008. It's a very long review. I'm just going to read the first line. Smart, snarky, and just plain biologically young. 4 out of 5 stars.
Somebody check on that guy.
James from 2020, great record. If you're reading this, you probably already know that. Go ahead and get it on vinyl. I actually got this as a gift for a girl. She broke up with me before I was planning on giving it to her, but I went ahead and gave it to her anyway. She had enjoyed it. You will too, bud. Smiley face, 5 out of 5 stars.
Sounds like a real RR.
Absolutely. So that guy, I think, probably really got the message of this. Well, you know what? Actually, probably didn't, because he doesn't seem horrifically bitter about that whore. Anyway, one last one. Kyle Rocks 1002 from 2013. This is just a boring album with a lot of boring synth pop beats. The worst thing about this album is the swearing, which is something that usually isn't bad about a song. Why? Because the profanity used is not amusing and the songs don't make me laugh. The worst case of profanity and the worst song on this musical trash is I Write Sins Not Tragedy. The GD word is the worst case of profanity on this CD, mainly because I dread that word, especially in music, especially in rap, and refuse to use it in my life, but also because it is more commonly used uncensored on YouTube videos with profanity. That really moves the wrong way because I'm so sick of it. The only song I actually hate with a fiery passion on this record is I Write Sins, Not Tragedies. The GD word isn't used exactly unnecessarily in the song, I just really hate it. The last thing I will say is this band does better with their newer stuff, and at least they don't suck immediately like all rappers when they use the GD word in the most unnecessary way. 2 out of 5 stars.
What's most galling, folks, is that we still don't know what word he's referring to. But he hates that GD word.
I like that.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
All right, Tim, great reviews. Who's this for?
This is for angsty teens looking for book recommendations. This is for male teens. This is for male teens looking for book recommendations that have recently been cheated on or at least think they have.
Great summary. And that's going to make me ask it. We've been all the way through it, really dug into it as best a human could. Any final thoughts? Any revelations?
No.
My big revelation? Mildly tedious.
I wouldn't say mildly.
I think that this could have been a decent 11-song album. 13's too many.
No, it could have been a decent 9-song album
9,
because they
take
have to
out the 2.
Right, yeah. It's honestly,
guys, get rid of the garbage.
They should have leaned more into the weird instruments because that goes better with the weird like song titles and the nonsense lyrics. I think if you just lean into these are strange, kind of disconnected, amorphous songs that are definitely not a bunch of dance numbers, it makes it more palatable to me at least.
I just like the weird Baroque stuff because it's different.
Yeah.
Like, I've seen a million pop punk bands. Go lean towards a Beirut style.
Oh yeah.
Go do that. That'd be weird as shit. Okay.
And honestly, Beirut lean toward a more accessible style.
Yeah, come on, guys. French weirdos, I think. Anyway, are they not?
I don't think so, but I don't know.
Maybe Belgian?
I don't know.
There's something weird, aren't they?
I don't think so. I think they're from like upstate New York or something.
No.
Let's find out. Let's find out before we do this. Hold on.
Origin, Santa Fe, New Mexico.
Yeah.
That's even weirder.
Yep.
Wow. Yeah. Beirut, what are you doing? I can't believe I'm going to say this, but could you New Mexico up your music slightly? Ugh. Anyway, all right. Then let's ask it, Tim. After an entire episode with it, do you hate this album? Did you get there?
No, I didn't quite get there. I'm probably giving them a little bit of a pass because I'm factoring in who I was at 19 and giving them some credit that maybe they grew out of thinking that the worst half of Chuck Palahniuk's bibliography is the pinnacle of literature. We should make them read Rant and then see if they're still in. No, I mean, I think this is not a particularly good album. I think it's just a dumb album made by 19-year-olds. It's sort of to me, it's the pop punk equivalent of SoundCloud rap, and I really don't like it, but I don't hate it. I can't say that I do. What about you, friend? Did you get there?
Disappointingly, no. No, I didn't. It's fine. I don't have too much more to say that you haven't already rather well.
Let me ask you this. In your mind, that makes this album better than The Wallflowers?
Yes.
Oh, God damn it. Delightful.
Great stuff. Alrighty, folks, that's going to do it for us. And big announcement. We've said it before, but in case you forgot, we're finally doing it. We're sending Tim to the Dutch, which means you are going to be Timless for a week, but don't worry, I'll come up with something. And Tim, my God, man, I am terrified.
I hope I get to the right place this time.
Yeah, I know you will. I'm worried what's going to happen when you do. Use your best judgment.
I'm hoping I meet some nice Dutch people. I've heard they're very tall.
Yeah, Have you? Are they tall?
That's what I've heard. And
okay.
You know me, I find that intimidating, and I don't like it one bit.
Well, that's good. Yeah. Well, I've got good and bad news for you, and it's the same news. I'm not sending him with you, but Tom B. Rady will also be in the Dutch while you are in the Dutch, and you will see him a lot.
I'm gonna hunt Tom B. Rady through the Dutch.
Sorry, Tom. I had to tell him. All right. Well,
he's gigantic. Well, he's not gigantic compared to a Dutchman, but he's he looks exactly like Tom Brady. I'm going to notice.
That's going to do it for this week. As always, folks, if you can, write in hatePodMail@gmail.com. We love hearing from you, your suggestions, your thoughts, ideas, whatever. Send it to us. Dark secrets, we love those. Or you can go to what is it? HatePod? Yeah, you can go to hatepod.com and click on contact us in the upper left-hand corner if you don't feel like going to your email, though I don't know why you would. wouldn't. You can also reach out to us. We're on Twitter. That's album hatepod. On Instagram, it's hatepod. On Threads, it's hatepod. We got Discord servers. We've got subreddits. So if you need links to that, reach out to us on one of the many ways you can find us and join the party. But for this week, I think for Why I Hate This Album, I have been one of your hosts, Garrett Harvey.
I have been the other, Timothy Richardson, and on April 10th, 2015, apropos of nothing, Garrett Harvey asked, would you like to know what I think would be a difficult to
Oh my god, we're so bleeping some of them.
There's cowboys running through my dreams. Nothing's quite the way it seems. I joined the Navy, got kicked out in a week. My facial features aren't distinct. Try to find some meaning in these songs. The genius is a genius, got it wrong. No, it's a lobster murder sex thing. It's the bleaching of the rear. A full assault on both your ears. The riffs are too repetitive. The lyrics make no sense. All the songs are B-sides. The cover art's a mess. Listen to it for a week. Now that week has passed. It's the Why I Hate This Album podcast with Tim and Garrett.
Cream-colored ponies and crisp apple strudels, doorbells and sleigh bells and schnitzel with noodles, wild geese that fly with the moon on their wings. These are a few of my favorite things.